mystery, history, cryptid creatures, and paranormal activities. This is the Creeps and Crawls Mystery Hour podcast, and I'm your host, Creeps.
Alright guys, welcome back. So, today's episode is going to be about giants, but before we start, I do have a couple of quick words. We did start a thing with Alive Shoes, and it is now up. There is a link in our channel's description and should be one in the description of this video. If you could, please go check that out. The shoes that I have made are awesome. I actually got a pair, and in the next few clips there will be some pictures of the shoes that I got. The leather is amazing and the suede is just so soft, and they are awesomely put together. I actually walked through my work with these shoes on and they are amazing. Alright, enjoy. Also, if you haven't, please check out Creeps and Crawls Conspiracy Corner. It is a corner where we talk about conspiracy theories. It should be in a little playlist inside of our actual channel. If you could go take a peek at that, I would really appreciate that as well. Now let's begin. Giants are portrayed in all works of fiction and in every continent in the world. These creatures are literally what their name states, enormous giant beings, sometimes with powers and sometimes with multiple appendages, or even as a cyclops with one eye. And we're going to start with probably the most famous of giants, the Grecian giant. Now, prior to the gods in ancient Greek folklore, there were the Titans, which were seen as gigantic predecessors to the gods. One of these Titans were Gaia, who birthed the giants that roamed the earth, as well as the Cyclops and Phoenicians. These were not considered gods and were not considered beasts. They were like bigger humans. Some see the giants as more of monsters rather than bigger people, and the stories vary between mythos. And even in one story, the giants rebelled against the gods with the help of one of the gods named Enceladus, seeking to overthrow them and take domain of Mount Olympus. Athena faced off against Enceladus and buried him beneath the island of Sicily, and this caused many to believe that he was the cause of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, even being mentioned in Virgil. Quote, Enceladus, his body, lightning, scared lies prisoned under all. So runs the tale, or him, gigantic Etna, breaths in fire from crack and seam, and if he haply turned to change his wearied side, Trinicity's isles tremble and moans, and thick fumes mantle heaven. End quote. There were also depictions of giants in busts and coins from there, and also giants were said to have multiple appendages. The Hecatonocheires, I cannot pronounce that word, but please bear with me, or 100-handed one in Greek, are a group of 4 mythical giants in ancient Greek who have been referred to as the Centaurs Aegon, or is related to them. Because of this connection with the sea, they have been drawn by numerous Grecian scholars and Homer himself to belong to Poseidon. Blech. Excuse me, sorry, I'm having a tongue twister day. Now, Another thing that we need to talk about is the titans that decided to fight alongside Kronos in the Titanomachy. There are others among this set of unlikely heroes and monsters, but I think that you'd like to know about them. I mean, there was Nyx, who apparently even the gods themselves were scared of. She was a giant lady, and also the night. Gaia the earth, and Cronus, who was huge and apparently evil, and Ouranos before Kronos. But I think we should hop off of Greek lore for now because I'm getting a tongue twister and go on to Viking lore. Now, Viking lore and Grecian lore has often been connected, but did you know that both have similar stories of giants? Now, in more Viking lore, giant is loosely translated and oftentimes misconstrued. They are to change size from being merely human to being larger than life and larger than mountains, larger than earth, so we have to be careful when we talk about them, because they seem to change to fit each story. Norse mythologies has many ideas of what giants are, even referring to some as gods. On Asgard, as giant, these giants seem to go by the name Jotnar, and were depicted as powerful and mostly destructive beings. They, like in Greece, were often in conflict with or were the gods. They were known for their immense strength and magical abilities, and often known as shapeshifters. Some were associated even with natural forces, such as storms and earthquakes. But just like anything else, their powers and abilities often varied. Some stories even claim that they relied on magic and delusion over brute strength. Utgarda, Thysa, and Loki were all oftentimes examples of others, like Thrymr, or the master builder of the mountain giant, used more force rather than magic, and is said that his horse, Svadilfari, single-handedly built a wall around Asgard, so tall, thick, and powerful that no other Jotun could scale it or break it, yet masterfully constructed that not even an ant could find a crack wide enough to crawl through. And had Loki not interfered, it would have been built in only one season. The next area we're going to talk about is India. The Vedas were giants and known as early humans. The Vedas' time is measured in epochs called yugas, which yugas last several thousand years. Giants were said to live during the Golden Age, or Staya Yuga. In Staya Yuga, humans were 32 feet tall, and according to them, as time went on, humans became smaller. By the epoch of Dwapara Yuga, or 3100 BCE, humans had decreased exponentially to 8 feet, 6 feet, or 6 feet tall, depending on the stories. For comparison, in the Bible, Goliath is said to be 7 foot 11 inches tall. Goliath belonged to the Philistines, which historians know lived in the 12th century BC, which lines up perfectly when it comes to mythology and archaeology. So according to the Vedas, Goliath and the giants were highly possible. So according to the Vedas, if giants did live in these very ancient times, that's why we have no skeletons of them. Ancient evidence is especially scarce, which makes it hard for people to paint a true picture in our past. But a question remains, are all humans giants? Well, no. That moves us into giants in the Bible. Let us go back even before David and Goliath to when Noah lived. God created the flood to rid the world of Nephilim on earth, and the wicked of the world. Here Nephilim are said to be large, humanoid, and strong, and also the offspring of humans and seraphim, and are often compared to fallen angels like Lucifer. They also are said to be men of the old time, which aligns with the Indian or Vedic texts and sources. Upon all of this, we do have evidence of a flood. Despite it being minimal, more evidence for it comes every day. And actually, quite recently in Nevada, the skeletal remains of two ginger giants were found measuring a lengthy 1.44 meters tall, one male and one female, showing more evidence to these claims. They are dubbed Giants of Lovelock, which are actually proof of giant tribe red-headed pale people that settled in the Americas, according to a Powhatan legend. I can't pronounce that word either, and I do apologize. An ancient Indian legend, which now rings true to the actuality, being nearly a decade since these 10 feet tall humans were found, and it continues to baffle scientists that these people actually lived. Now, I do want to apologize for the background noise. There's a lot going on around my house, and that's why I haven't really recorded. But I want to know what you think about this episode, and what more would you like to know about giants? And did my horrible mispronunciations make you want to cringe? Well, that's all for today. Have a very wonderful day, and stay creepy, my friends.